Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the NRL preseason. Now, this one's happening just up the road. It's at OrangeTheory Stadium in Christchurch. And it looks like there's a decent crowd in attendance, which is great to see for this Warriors versus Storm matchup. Now, when these two sides play, seems to be it's either very close or it can be very one-sided. And normally it's not very one-sided in favor of the Warriors. So hopefully this one is a nice close one. Warriors maybe able to sneak themselves the victory at the end in front of their home crowd in Christchurch. But they've gone with a few changes from what they had in their last week's game. And now they will be looking to do absolutely everything they can to take down this Melbourne Storm side. Looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Warriors, they will be as follows. It is going to be Nicole Clockstad. Also at the back, it is Watene Zelezniak, Williami, and Vailea in the midfield. Now, they played absolutely brilliantly in last week's preseason fixture, so hopefully they are able to back it up with another great performance. Marcelo Montoya, another player who played pretty well, dropped the first ball that went to him, then after that just bulldozed through everyone in his way, definitely up against, I believe it was the young number, I don't know what number he was, he might have been number 2 in the end, Charlie Staines, ended up getting run over by Montoya, Volkman, and then Sean Johnson back into this Warriors side, ready to go here up against the Storm. Whanua Blake, Egan, Barnett, also Ford, Nuakore, and Harris, the rest of the 4-pack for the Kiwis. Looking through now at their challenges, the Melbourne Storm, still a few players missing for them, the likes of Ryan Papenhazen. He won't be too far away from making his return, but Nick Meaney, Warbrick, Smith, Tonapia, also Xavier Coates, Cameron Munster, and Jerome Hughes. Those 3 names definitely ones to watch out for throughout this fixture. And then this man, of course, Nelson Asafa Solomona, a beast when he runs at the opposition. Him versus Whanua Blake. I think there's going to be some sore bodies tomorrow after this one. Harry Grant, also Christian Welch, Loiero, Katoa, and also Josh King, the last man in the starting lineup for the Storm. We have got a few people in the chat already. Love a bit of league. Hello, Amish. There's Distracted Sports. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well indeed, and hope you're excited for the NRL season. Now, of course, pre-season, Warriors have already got themselves a win. So some would say this year's their year, but just never know. And not cricket. I just popped in to say hi, says Mr. Cautious Pets. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing all right. Hello, Hamish. My name's Darren. I love your work. Live streams, keep up the good work. So shout out to you, Darren. I hope you are having a great day so far. What the score last season against the Chiefs, 24-0. Te Riki. And also we have got afternoon. Hamish says, Nate, welcome in. And Harry Potter 1, says Nate there. Harry Potter 1. That has confused my brain. And also we have got there, Warriors for life, or Worried for life, says Nate there. Now they're making their way out, walking the same tunnel that we have seen the Crusaders walk many times at OrangeTheory Stadium. Now, normally when the Crusaders walk this path, they get themselves victories. Warriors in preseason, I believe when they played the Storm last time in preseason, they were victorious. So that will be something they do try and pride themselves on. Now, it's a bit windy, and that stand is actually empty in the background. I was heavily considering sending Isaac a couple tickets up for this matchup, but I wasn't sure if he was free. So I didn't want to send them just in case he didn't have the day off. And welcome in, Darren. And also, bye, left a like, by the way, says Mr. Cautious Pets. So I do appreciate that a lot, mate. Few Warrior supporters, though, in attendance for this matchup, and it should be a good game. Melbourne Storm, they're one of those sides that when they start finding that flow in rugby league, they're hard to stop. But if you can hold them out for that first kind of 15, 20 minutes, Warriors may be able to start finding themselves a little bit of success. Like I mentioned, the Tigers, they were able to unfortunately lose to the Warriors last week. It was a good contest in the end. A bit of a comeback, but the Warriors was a little bit too strong early on. And the main reason for that was those players that I was mentioning, like some Montoya, Vailea, also Williami, those type of guys who were able to get themselves some nice runs. And hey, Hamish, hey, friends, how's it going, boy? My name is Ollie. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Hamilton. Says Ollie there. It sounds like you're going on for the weakest link. You know, the only thing you're missing is your occupation. And where can you watch it for free? Unfortunately, I don't believe there are many free options other than I'll have a quick look to see if they've got the TAB is an option because they sometimes actually show preseason games on there. But other than that, I believe it's only on paid TV unless you signed up for a Sky Sport free trial. But the only problem with that is then you'll miss most of the regular season due to that trial only being, I think it's either a week or a month that you do end up getting. So, what can we find out about the NRL? Have they got the preseason on? I don't think they do, unfortunately. Next to go, the Warriors soon. Yes, you can play some multi, but you can't watch the game on the TAB. Unfortunately, I went to the Chiefs game, sad to see Hamish. I was not there, but it was good. Says Connor. Or sad to see Hamish was not there. Yeah, although I'm hoping to make my way to one of the games some stage, maybe throughout the season. We were going to be going to the Highlanders versus Crusaders game in Oamaru, because it was just down the road, but didn't quite end up getting there. Right, the ball has fallen off the tee already. It's quite windy in Christchurch. Right, Cam Munster to get us underway for this almost final preseason game. We've only got a few more to go, but it is the final for both of these sides before they get into the NRL season in just the 2 weeks' time. Nice start. Nicole Clockster with the first carry of the match for the Warriors. Now it will be Mitchell Barnett. Just try and drive it up a bit further. It's always the way. Didn't sneeze at all up until the start of the stream. And we're less than a minute in. On average, I've got soccer at 4. Should I say hi to Reed for you? I mean, you could do. Hopefully your soccer goes all right. Currently the Warriors sitting 4 phases in. We're about 45 metres out from their line currently. Nice run from Tohu Harris. Sean Johnson puts up his first kick of the day. And it's gone high, waiting for this one to come down, swirling in the breeze as well. But it's done very nicely by Nick Meaney. Now getting driven backwards, finds his offload. Keeping this one alive. Remus Smith for the Melbourne Storm. It's great to see that both sides still going with quite experimental sides, giving those younger players the opportunity to fly to Hamilton to watch a Chiefs game, says Ollie. Although strategically, I could instead wait for the Chiefs to come to the South Island and then save the cost of a flight. Here come to the Chiefs versus Highlanders game. Says Connor, I might get the ball off them. Says Ollie, that's going to be a good tackle made by the Warriors again. Not allowing too many early meters from the Melbourne Storm, but here comes Jerome Hughes with the good run. Tackled on the halfway line. Looks like we're going to get quite a few completed sets. That's going to be the 5th and final, kicked in behind by Harry Grant, waiting for that one to bounce up, and it has set up quite nicely for Nicole Clockster. Now big fend from Montoya. I think he's going to be one of the big stars for the Warriors throughout this season. Just already, it seems like he's got that explosive. Oh, that was high, was it? Yes, it was. It's always hard to tell because anytime we watch a game of rugby union, like 90% of these would be penalties, but only about 10% of them end up being penalties in a game of the NRL. A moment. We'll go like this and like. So Sean Johnson's actually missed touch with that one. Instead, running it up, it is Ben Farr. No, it's not. Instead, it is Xavier Coates. Keep your teams muddled up a little bit. That was brilliantly done by the Melbourne Storm, though, to keep that ball in the field of play. We actually had a replay of a different shot while that was taking place. Nelson, Safa Solomon rolls the ball back to Harry Grant. Now Munster. Man on the outside has gone through the hands, and the Warriors will now have the scrum. We're watching NRL when you play league with a few of these boys. Could be you, Nate. I don't know if I remember how old you are. I think you're about 28, if I had to guess. So maybe one day you wanna play internationally in the NRL, or is it just more of a hobby type thing? I really like the Rugby Challenge 4 vids. But can you go into a tournament with like a custom team, says Connor. I know that I've got those options on Rugby Challenge 4. We're thinking about doing some sort of career mode in the near future. It's just waiting for, I guess, the new setup to be prepared so that we can have plenty of space. And yep, 28 boss, that was a very good guess, Nate. I just decided to, instead of having the N, I changed it to a 2. It was Blues 28. There you go. That was the reason. Oh, strip clean. Little bit of ball security lacking for Watini. So it's Nyack there. And now, once again, the Storm are going to have the attacking chance inside of the Warriors half. Good attack and run from Katoa. Now Grant plays it to the left, gives it off to Welsh, who bumps off one. Almost gets through another there, Welch. Held him down for Tohu Harris, but this was a bad ball to give up for the Warriors, and they might end up paying for it up to the fourth tackle now. Warriors only 7 out from their line. Grant goes to the right-hand side, inside ball from Munster. Now Meany has to run it backwards, almost gets shut down, and he does indeed with a good tackle from Jackson Ford. They made 30 metres now. Will they consider the kick? Munster instead goes to Jerome Hughes, starts to grab it. Taken nicely by the Warriors and almost ended up with a good chance for a counter-attack. They've been able to clean that one up at the back for Nicole Cloxton, but the Warriors, they need to make a lot of metres here. And also we have got there, did you see, we end up seeing your outstanding cameo fellow? I haven't yet, but I haven't watched a single YouTube video since the last time we chatted, but it is at the top of my watch later. Hopefully I'll get to see it a little bit later on today. Yeah, throughout yesterday, it was pretty much I woke up, played cricket, came home, set up the stream, went to sleep for an hour and a half, got up, did the URC, went back to sleep. Now we're here. So she's been good. It's been nice and busy. Do you want to come on at halftime, Distracted Sports? I know that you are a Warriors follower. I was going to say fan, but I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to call yourself a fan of this side for a majority of people. So that's why I always say a follower rather than a fan. Me and the wife ended up having kids instead. I see. Yes. I'm sure that's going all right, though, for you, Nate, is it? Go Warriors, New Zealand. Yes, says Reed Nichols. Now Grant goes off short. Now Liero, or Loiero, I should say. Grant waiting for that. Now Asafa Solomona bumps off. I believe it was Mitchell Barnett who's been sat down, unfortunately. In that case, Harry Grant now going off to the right-hand side. And also, I'm a Warriors fan hard. Says Tia Ricky and Black Caps 91 for 9. Poor performance from New Zealand batters. Will you cover Australia versus India today? Possibly not today. I believe the plan straight after this live stream is that me, George, and Daniel are going to be going fishing, I think. That should be interesting. George, at the moment, he was going to be on this live stream with me. We had organised it, and then this morning, or pretty much I say this morning, it was 2 p.m. We ended up waking up. He was like, no, I'm not going to be there. I've decided to go boating instead. So that's why you just got me. I had a good chat with Quinn Tupaia at the Chiefs game because I was sitting right behind him. There's Connor there. It was a great take in the air from Nicole Cloxton coming forward, and then they did end up with the penalty as Nick Meany took him out in the air. Warriors now 35 metres out from their line. It's a spin from Fanua Blake, who is a big guy, but looks kind of small compared to Nelson Asafa Solomona. So those two, if they run at each other at some stage throughout this match, I feel like the crowd are going to absolutely lose their minds. And surely someone has a link to hook up for the game, says Pope New Zealand. The only link I've got is Sky Sport Now, unfortunately, it's on Sky Sport 4. I don't believe there's a free live stream of this match that I know of. Normally we'd like to, oh, that's an ankle. That would have hurt. And normally they have like preseason games on either Facebook or YouTube. You may be able to find one if you're very lucky. Just make sure you don't click on a wrong link and get a virus. Now that one's gone out on the full from Sean Johnson. They're going to go right back to where he kicked it from, which was about 30 metres back. Johnson's asking for something. Is he saying that it should have been a penalty in his favour, or is he just not happy with the kick and trying to find something to base it off? The contact again for the Storm, 40 metres out from their line. We're already 8 minutes through this fixture. Both sides yet to get themselves a point on the board. Grant gives it off to Remus Smith. Or a peck last year. That would have sucked. Now, Nelson Asafa Solomona charging at the line. Tackled down again. Makes a few metres in the process, though. Now, quick ball from Harry Grant. Gives it to Josh King. Finds his offload as well. Now, back to Grant. Sells the dummy. Tackle by Johnson. Important one to make. Oh, 6 more. Johnson's having a shocker so far. So that's going to give them a brilliant chance to attack. Nelson Asafa Solomona considered the offload. Decided against it, though. Now going to the right. Harry Grant. It's going to be Welch again. Warriors, they have spent a majority of this game defending inside of their own 30 metres or so. Oh, but that's a big drop, I think. Yeah, it was Asafa Solomon who just put that ball down clean, and that gives the Warriors a knock on. That's a good time to win that. And Nelson Asafa Solomon, I thought he was going straight through a gap. Instead, ended up dropping that ball. Sky Stadium, Wellington Warriors versus Knights, Friday, March, New Zealand. Yes. Says Reed. Yeah, there's quite a few games for the Warriors at home, which is awesome to see. Yeah, we have games in Wellington, Mount Smart Stadium. Where else have they got? I don't think they've got any more in the South Island, do they, for when the season actually gets underway? Yeah, they'll have a few different locations. There they do cover. Nice run here from Jackson. It's almost up to the halfway line and a good carry that's appreciated by the Orange Theory crowd. Now going off to the right again. Nice inside ball. It'll be Tohu Harris again. Inside of the Storm half. Looking to the left. Nice step. That's Volkman. We haven't seen too much of Montoya. Just the one run so far. Man, Johnson is a tough bloke to rely on. He is. Very much so. And it's going to be interesting to see how he goes this season, because I thought, who did we have last week playing 7? This is going to annoy me because I can't remember who it was. But someone last week who was playing 7 actually didn't do too badly. Meany took that one nicely. Ins and out. I might be able to find them here. So, who did we have last week? It wasn't Auckland, I don't think. Wasn't Metcalf. Who was the number 7 last week? My brain has completely left me. It was Metcalf, was it? Metcalf. See, he didn't do too badly, did he? Last week. Now that Johnson's back, it seems like he has lost his spot a little bit. Hey, man, New Zealand doing bad in the cricket, and who are you picking to win this? I think it's tricky because the Storm, theoretically, I think should win this game. But the Warriors, they're the kind of side to win both preseason games and then lose most of the regular season. So it's a bit of a 50-50 at the moment. But I'd say if they can stop the Melbourne Storm from scoring in this first kind of 20, 25 minutes, they'll still be in with a real crack here, the Warriors. As you pick to win the NRL this year. I mean, the Panthers are definitely a side that will finish somewhere up there. I mean, we've seen, a couple sides have been close in the last couple of years as well. No. But Panthers definitely front runner. Luke Metcalf played standoff. Says Nate Dan, sorry, late doing Rugby Sevens. No worries, Brandon. And go the Warriors, sees BFTA. But anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be covering plenty of the NRL regular season, as well as Super Rugby, Six Nations. Oh, that's a big tackle made. 20 out from the line, but it's dropped. It's a knock on from both sides. Melbourne Storm all the way, says Spider-Mick. What Super Rugby team do you support if you had to choose? I mean, if I had to choose, it should be a South Island team, but the only thing that makes me pick this side is because I like their kit the most, and that's the Hurricanes. I like their yellow kit, and I think I'm going to get one at some stage. And will you see Australia winning the Delhi Test? Trevor said scoring quickly. Australia lead by 60 runs. It's a good start, but they're going to need a lot more because India, we've seen them chase some pretty big totals before, and they were on more batting-friendly wickets. So it's going to be tricky. They just need to make sure that they keep on going. And if they have 300 plus on the board, decent enough crack. Tackle made that time by Jackson. That is Jackson Ford, I should say. I called him by his first name. We're on a first name basis, me and him. Never met the guy. Sure, he's a great bloke. Still driving for this time. Smith with the run. And Tamairi Martin played 7. Says, you see, he didn't do too badly. I have to go back and have a look at it, I think, just to make sure that it's Correct. But yeah, he didn't go too bad, did he? Maybe. He was all right. Rugby Warriors t-shirt buy, yes, says Reed. I considered it in the off season. I was going to buy one. And now, unfortunately, they're $160. So I kind of wish that I had bought one in the off season. There's $160 for the Warriors kit. Don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have one, but 160, she's quite high in that regard. I've got some Warriors shorts, but I shouldn't wear them too much on stream anyway, because they're that short that you're worried you're going to have a malfunction. It's going to be another mistake from the Melbourne Storm. They're actually penalty going the way of the Warriors here. Now we're currently sitting at a total of 18 minutes. Well, in fact, it's only 15, but scoreboard's getting excited. 15 minutes through. Sean Johnson, I think he's just trying to dry off the ball there. 3 penalties, 1 from the Warriors, 0, 1 for Melbourne. So that's actually relatively similar to what we saw last week up against the Tigers. They were winning the early penalties. And in the second half, that was when we started seeing a little bit more of the comeback. And yup, says Nate, and I was going to any Super Rugby games. Not that I have scheduled yet, in terms of I haven't planned any trips to them. But I want to make a trip up to Christchurch at some stage to see Isaac. So I don't know whether that will fall under the Super Rugby window or whether it will be at a different time. I've also, as Distracted Sports will know, I've also got to make a trip up to Auckland at some point. But that will be probably after Super Rugby, I would think. And good to have extra halfbacks this season for New Zealand Warriors. Are you covering Six Natural this week? Six Nations this week? We are indeed. So this weekend is a very busy one because we have got Super Rugby starting up. We've also got the Six Nations, a bit of the URC, I believe. We're going to be hopefully able to cover. Alongside that, we've got some cricket that we're going to be doing. We've actually got our cricket game in real life that I'm not sure if I'm going to be available yet because of all the streams that we've got over the weekend. It's a bit of a tricky one because at the same time as we're playing cricket, Moana Pacifica are playing the Fijian Drua, which is arguably one of the biggest games of Super Rugby this year. Now Xavier Coates gets held. Let him go, Sean. Stop it, Sean. Yep. Let him go that time. Sean Johnson. 16 and a half minutes through this first half already. Up to the third tackle. Big contact there. Good tackle from Tohu Harrison Ford. Now off to the right again. Another step. Welch this time. Taken down again. The Warriors. They're managing to stop the Melbourne Storm from making huge amounts of distance. Although Asafa Solomon is a hard man to stop because he does also possess that offload game. Now Munster with a bounce pass. It's a knock on again. This time Nick Meaney is the player who drops it. Come on, Storm, live up to the name. Says Spider-Man and Fiji go win. I also got a busy week. Says Brandon. Oh, and I forgot the LA Sevens. That's also taking place next weekend. So, yeah, there's plenty on. And Cameron Munster threw that away. You're on the great pass from Cameron Munster there, but the running meter so far, we've seen the Melbourne Storm with 318, the Warriors with just the 232. I believe other than the very first moments of the game, really, the Warriors haven't been inside of the Melbourne Storm's about 30 meters or so. And completion rates have been terrible in this game, says Distracted Sports. The worst thing is it started so well. Complete set from the Warriors, complete set from the Storm. And I was like, okay, good. And then from there, I think we've seen like 2 or 3 completed sets, if we're lucky. Now getting up again there. Warriors with the ball in hand. Nice step from Ford. Okay, that is Barnett. They kind of look similar. Same haircut. I mentioned this about Super Rugby as well. It seems like no one's really going for the crazy hairdos this year. Like, there's no pink hair, no blue hair, no blonde tips or anything like that. It seems like everyone's just gone, yeah, might as well just keep it the same. It's done by 20, not yet, says Spider-Mech. Now off. It was a completed set for the Warriors. It's gone high, just 10 meters out. Well taken by Nick Meaney. It's crushed in the tackle by the Warriors chaser, Williami. Love to see him with his hands on the ball relatively soon. That's going to be held. Another tackle made by Tohu Harris. He's been busy. Jerome Hughes. Is it off now? Who was that? Was that Remus? Yeah, it was Remus. Now Grant trying to get a few extra meters around the side, drops the ball again. Yeah, no, completed sets are a thing of the past. You can't cover Super Rugby Friday night. Need to dope off my wife to her friends off. Need to dope off my wife to her friend's place. That's a weird way of wording going to a friend's place, Brandon, but I see what you mean. Sean Johnson needs to be dropped from the Warriors. Get rid of him. Team will win this year, says Mary. And there he's a 50-50 player by the looks of it at the moment, Johnson. Like he's given away a couple penalties or one penalty in this game. He missed touch as well. Hopefully it's just because he didn't play last year or last week and he's starting to find his mojo. But we've seen 5 errors from both sides. So certainly preseason stats there between them. But now Warriors almost a handling error there, but just managing to hang on to it there. I'm saying there a lot at the moment. But is there going to be a try? It's a run from Tohu Harris. Takes 3 Storm players to get him down. 15 meters out. This is the best attacking opportunity the Warriors have had of this first half. They go off short to Barnett. Driven backwards. Good tackle made by Grant. And also Josh King. Now around the side, Sean Johnson just standing there confused at where to go, and instead he just takes contact. Look like a deer in the headlights there. Now off to the left-hand side, Harris goes now to Fanua Blake, finds he wasn't looking. He should have been able to find a nice easy offload to Harris, but Harris had his back to him. Now the Warriors short ball from Johnson is dropped by the number 12 Nakuri, and they've given up the ball. I'm looking for the rugby night game rematch of Super Rugby Aotearoa, or looking forward to this rugby game on Friday night. Super Rugby Aotearoa final will be great, and the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman rematch on Saturday as well. So we get a little bit of that finals feel. Pacific Island derby between mine and Pacific. That's going to be 6 again. Just sitting on them. No, they're all right. I didn't end up giving it. And Sean Johnson confused. I tell you, he needs to go, says Mary. Yeah, it wasn't great from Sean Johnson. But then also the fact that Tohu Harris, when he turned his back, I think that really stopped momentum, because if they had gone down this bottom side, maybe they could have made a few more meters in the process. Now the Melbourne Storm cycling this one quickly up to their 5th and final. They've made 43 meters. Jerome Hughes, don't think they realise it's their 5th. In fact, it wasn't. It was just someone couldn't count in the scoreboard department. Now it's kicked high. This one's going to be tough to take, and he's done extremely well there, Marcelo Montoya. Bad, Mary? Says Blues Nate. 18 minutes remaining, yet to see a single point in this matchup between the two sides, which normally means there's an interception try coming relatively soon. Now again, Nicole Clockstead hits it up. Tohu Harris. Oh, he's doing a headstand. Something we used to have to do at school that I could never quite do. It was always annoying when we had to do the gymnastic side of things, because I landed on my head while doing the parallel bars, for anyone who knows what that is. But it was a good example, because then the teacher was like, and you see, this is why we put the mats down underneath them. Because, yeah, I pretty much flipped and landed on my neck. I don't know how I didn't get hurt from that. The mats, probably. And can they play next week? I'm also not looking forward to the Sevens. They have to this week. They are actually going to be playing next week as well. Montoya for the first try. I think he's got a good chance to run it in. He hasn't had too many attacking opportunities as of yet, but he's still just got that X factor, I think. Metcalf and Martin to lead New Zealand Warriors halves. Be a good combo. Seemed to work all right last week up against the Tigers. But then that's the thing. If you've got Sean Johnson in his squad, as out of form as he can be at times, are they still going to go with him? That was a not great tackle attempt from Montoya. Now 10 meters out. Here come the Storm again. That will be 5th and final with a 63-meter gain. Grant with the grubber. It's going to be in. Someone might have been taken out, and it's been run dead by Nicole Clockstead. And this one will be the goal line dropout. I'm a gymnastics survivor. Passion from hose. A horse. And I've got to do some editing for the rest of the game. Champion says distracted sports. It was good to see you, mate. And yeah, we'll have to watch that video as soon as I can. Depending on what time we go fishing, I might get to watch it before we go. Possibly. Knock, knock. Who's there? Says Spider Mick. Who is there? It's sure it might be the first. Oh, no. Storm. Storm who? I'm not sure how you finish that, Spider Mick. I'm interested. It's probably going to be something like Storm are the best. Sean might be first choice for Andy Webster. Yeah, I think. Yeah, having Sean Johnson. Oh, it's dropped. Big run at the line. Muscled up there. Nakure said, nope, you're not going through, bud. Was that Joe Chan who ran at him or Penne? It might have been Penne. Decided, yeah, it was Penne who just charged back and got smacked backwards by Nakure. Yeah, with Sean Johnson in the squad, I feel like they'll be like he's too valuable in a good game to not have him out there. I wouldn't mind seeing him as an interchange player at some stage throughout the season. It's Norman Berryman. Says Octodad, and if I'm going to go to my dad this week, I'm not since the Storm. So I got to see if he's all right. Now that's a nice run. I think it was an interception. In fact, no, it was just a clean break for the Warriors, and they've scored first in this matchup. We'll take that every day of the week. For the Kiwis, it was Dallin Watene, Zales Nyack. Now, I looked away because I didn't think we were seeing too many points being scored. But what happens here? I just saw, I looked back and they just carved up. First receiver run straight through the middle. That is poor defense from the Storm. And probably the easiest try that the Warriors will score almost this season. Just straight through. Missed tackles by Meaney, and also I believe it was Smith. Sean Johnson needs to go watch him last year. He's mud. New fresh young legs, not retired legs at 7. Says Meaney, and it's our year. Nice sun, says Brandon. So where have you been staying otherwise, Brandon? If you haven't been at your dad's. And also, well, 30 minutes, says Drew there. Or 26. It is a little bit ahead on the clock, but it took 26 for the first try to be scored. Sean Johnson. Got a lot of pressure on him because I already know Mieri wants him out of the top, out of the side. So if he misses this kick, it's not going to be good for him. But Watene Zalesniak doing very well to get that try, just straight up in the middle. They literally epitomized run it straight, G. Straight through. Sean Johnson just getting the ball. Going to be about maybe 17 meters out. No, in fact, he walks up to 15. If this somehow misses, that would be incredible. At my own home. Says Brown there. Solid start, Warriors. Says Nate there. Right, Sean Johnson now. Up the guts. Says Dr. Dad. And solid start, Warriors. Deep breath being taken. And Sean Johnson converts and makes the score 6-0 now to the Warriors. Now he kicks that one down onto the concrete, which is slightly unfortunate because surely that's going to impact the ball. They might have to use a different one for the next one, unless, of course, they had someone waiting for it. Be able to take the catch. That would have been the reasonable thing. It's a big yawn, but a good try from Watene Zalesniak. And now, how did the Melbourne Storm fire back into this contest? They'll be disappointed to concede the first try because the Warriors have had a lot less of the position and the territory throughout this first half. Good start, says Octo Dad. Right, Munster slapping his hands. I think he's a bit frustrated. That's a good kick. Oh, just managed to take it there. It was flying. Adam Jackson forward. That's a great take. Now 25 metres out from their own line here, the Warriors. They go off to the short side. Will be Barnett. The Storm just need to make sure that they keep the Warriors inside of their own half here, although that's a great run from Nakure to move up to 40 out now. Around the side again. Big push from Tohu Harris. We've got a new member on the channel. It is Scones. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And it is Machiavelli. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button, mate. You have now got access to exclusive emojis on the channel, including my face, George's face, and a few other nice ones thrown in there as well. That's going to be nicely put high and well taken by the Melbourne Storm. In fact, it was Xavier Coates who was able to get a game. Can't be that board, the board to your no. It's just sleep deprivation, that's all. That's the thing with the weekend live streams. We did cover a game at 2 a.m. We covered a game at 4 a.m. for rugby union. Went to sleep for a little bit and then straight back in for some more rugby action. Storm move up to 40 meters out now. Will be the fourth tackle, so still one more. Lero. And welcome to Kiwi Lads, as Gons Machiavelli. And say home over 5 weeks ago. I'm going to see him. Get out of the house. I might buy myself a dad KFC. There's Brandon. Now that one is going to be bouncing back. Jerome Hughes considers the cross kick. He smacked quite late, but it has managed to find the hands of the winger Warbrick. He's had quite a quiet game, and it's going back for some sort of penalty. That was infringement on the other side of the field. I think it was for that late tackle. And let's go the Warriors, says Wild Rider. And also we have got the OC Sam Henry Sports. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Farnell Cons. Says Octo down. Right, they want to check this. Oh, okay, so it's not actually for the late tackle. It's actually for a little bit of obstruction a bit further over on the field. So it's a captain's challenge. So is that the Warriors who have captain's challenged that? Bet you that was Sean Johnson's idea. Well, I think Selesniak here has slightly changed his line. He was looking at the ball, though. So New Zealand's successful challenge. That'll be the only time you hear that throughout the 2023 NRL season. And that is because we're in preseason. And Sean Johnson says, Benny, no, it was the right decision this time. We've got to give him credit where credit's due. Give him a round of applause. Chiefs by 20. Can't wait for Hurricanes versus Chiefs. Says Sam Henry there as well. All right, King's gone off the field. Grant makes his way out there for the Warriors. Or was it? No, that was actually Jordan Grant. Sorry, the Melbourne Storm making their change. My guy, welcome, Farnell. Says Blues Nate. Now, 11 minutes left of the half. Walker off. In fact, Walker on. I'm getting the arrows around the wrong way. And Chiefs to smash Canes, says Nate. All right, Warriors 20 meters out from their line. Still 11 minutes left in this first half, so plenty of time. Try and get it right. I mentioned this game, it did kick off at about, I believe it was 2:50 p.m. New Zealand time. So they're not making bad time overall. And like the Chiefs smashed the Blues, says Andre. And there as well. Now, another run from Barnett. Been busy so far and makes an extra 5 post-contact meters for the New Zealand Warriors. Now, short run from Nickel Clockstart. He's decided to chase that ball a little bit. Gone, well, I might as well be first receiver. And he's dropped the ball and given it away to the Melbourne Storm. Well, it's going to be fifth and final anyway, so I guess to some extent the changeover happened like it would have, but they didn't make that kicking meterage as well. Away 24-0 last season, says a Blues Nate on Warriors first half, Storm the second, says Buttermeek. Yeah, it does seem like there's something brewing for the Storm. Could say a storm is brewing. But I think second half they should go a little bit better. They've had some good chances here. It's just the handling every once in a while has cost them. I wouldn't say the Warriors' defense has been perfect. That was a bit high, but a big shot from Barnett. It's going to be fifth and final, 32 meters gain. Now Jerome Hughes puts a high 40 meters out. It's going to be drifting down to about the 10-meter line. Great take from Montoya. Then met by Remus Smith. Gets back up to his feet. Almost considers going again. Didn't play the ball properly. He's asking for the penalty. And what's ended up happening here, I believe it's going to be a scrum for the Warriors. For the Storm. So that was a big mistake from Montoya. Handling errors has always been their problem. Says me and go the Warriors. Says Andre, I can't wait for the Hurricanes versus Blues last. It was so close. So we can see a rematch last year. We only see one game and up the Aussie Storm, says Master Mel, and also 24-0, says Blues Nate. He tried to play the ball. It was just, like they've said, it was just sloppy, unfortunately, from Montoya. And now the Storm, ideal position on the field, about 12 meters out. This will be where the Warriors really need to make sure they're getting it right, or else they may end up conceding right at the end of this first half, which will be the last thing that they want. But Jerome Hughes feeds it into Harry Grant now. Going off to the left-hand side. Here come the Storm. 5 metres between them and the line. I think it was actually Munster who decided to take on that carry. In fact, it was, yes. Now, going to the left. He sold as if he was going right, but Grant did see that space on the left-hand side. It's dropped by the Storm again. Everyone's just dropping the ball. And it's dry at OrangeTheory Stadium, Brumbies, for Super Rugby title this year. There's your next React vid on your React channel, probably in about 2 years' time. Don't think we've got any plans of doing any reacts just yet. I think the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel is one that we've been working on quite a bit recently in terms of working out what's going to be going on that channel. And Warriors look good against the Wooden Spoon Tigers development side last week. Here's Master Mel, how you doing, day 5? Here's Brandon. If we're talking of the test match, we won't be, mainly because it's going to only go to day 4, unfortunately, for that match. Tackles, Warriors making 117. 104 made by the Melbourne Storm, but now they've got the ball again. I've hardly seen Vilea or Williami. I don't know where they've been in this first half, but I hope they get the chance relatively soon. Now going to be Egan. Passes off to Nuikore. Oh, here comes. Oh, big shot on Volkman. He did end up getting pretty much eaten by Katoa in that challenge. His Brumbies look solid this year, but we're concentrating on winning the World Cup for the Wallabies and go to the Storm. Here's Sammy Souza in there as well. And unless it's the Storm under 17s, says Master Mel for them to win by at least 60. Now Johnson goes across, quick hands, great take from Watini Zalesniak, but then just ended up dropping it again. Very stop-start. Well, this one, I can see why they were charging people $15 to get in. That sounded harsh, didn't it? But Nicole Clockster went to Watini Zalesniak. Now, to his credit, he did try and go for the kick, so that's why he dropped it. So that's probably the only thing in his defence that you could say. But again, the bunker and rest rob us again. Can't do much about it. There's Master Mal. Now going to the right. Melbourne Storm, we're currently 34 minutes through this fixture. If I skip this, there we go. We're up to 36 now, but actually 34. Grant. Going off now. I believe that would have been, I think it was Eisenhuth. But Eisenhuth. Is that how you say it? Huth. Now Grant again. Munster. Short ball gives it to Penny. Tackle made by the Warriors. And 6 minutes remain. If they can keep their lead, it'll be very handy for them. Who do you think will win the Rugby World Cup? I'm still undecided, but I think it's going to be someone on the New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland, and France side of the draw. One of those 4 teams, I think, will take it out. Now, Jerome Hughes kicks it high, hit hard in the challenge afterwards. Drifting towards the touchline. Montoya takes it beautifully. Now finds a pass on the inside to Nicole Clockstead. Storm's defence has been solid, though. They haven't allowed too many line breaks throughout this matchup. Now Volkman. Is it back to Montoya again, starting to search for that ball a little bit more. It's another drop ball from Viliami. I mentioned I hadn't really seen him, and this time when we do see him, he's made the mistake. And also, I want sweet coffee. Also, the smiley face from Papa Shango, Wallabies clear World Cup favourites, says Master Mel. I don't even think the Aussie TAB have gotten them as favourites for the World Cup. And what's the score? It's currently 6-0 for the Warriors. And going to live stream the other NRL games happening today, says Darren Link. Sadly, we won't have too many of those other matches. I know there's about 3 more, isn't there, that will be coming up. After this game, we have a pre-organised fishing trip with me and a couple of the other Kiwi lads. So sadly, we won't be able to do those ones, but we are going to be doing plenty of the NRL, Super Rugby, Sevens next week as well. It's going to be exciting. Once again, the Warriors defending just a couple metres out from their line. Going to be only first tackle, though, for the Melbourne Storm. So this is, oh no, in fact, sorry, it's the 4th, I should say. It's going to be slapped back. It's going to be 6 more now. There's a 5-metre gain for them originally now. Short ball from Munster. Gives it off to Loiero. This is a very dangerous position for the Melbourne Storm to be in. Sean Johnson almost gives away the 6-again penalty. Now Grant consider going around the side. Johnson cleans him up, and they're going to drive him backwards, looking for the offload, decides against it. They've been held 10 metres out from the line now. Grant He's gone for a few of those pick and goes around the side of the breakdown. Jordan Grant. Not sure if he's any relation to Harry. They've both got the same haircut, perhaps going to the same barber. Now Munster also goes to the same barber. Nice ball to Meaney. Ducks under the tackle with Montoya. Gets close. That'll be last tackle. The Warriors, this might be the tackle that if they make, they don't concede in this first half. It's gone high. Great leaping one from the Melbourne Storm. Munster's in. And he gets over the line. And it was the tackle they needed to make, and it's a tackle they failed to. Munster scored for the Melbourne Storm right at the end of the first half, although they want to check this one. I'll jump over to BK Sport for my usual Sunday league games, at least after this, says Simi Souza. And I was like, yes, Steady Eddie is back soon. As they dumped Rennie, I was like, well, okay, this could work out great or be a disaster, says Master Mel. But yeah, the next games there is West Tigers versus Raiders, Bulldogs versus Sharks, and then Dolphins versus Titans, the last one of the day. Yes, finally, says Buttermeek. And while I'm not sure we will even make the quarterfinals, I will always believe we're winning it, says Master Mel there. Munster scores in the 37th minute. I've said that there might have been obstruction, but I don't think they've said that they're going to go back and look at it. I think they're all happy enough. Munster. That nice pass across Jerome Hughes. That was interesting. Munster actually tried to use the Warriors player's leg as his leap, almost like in the AFL, how you see the players kind of climbing on the other guys' backs. And hopefully the Warriors really back themselves this year. Is this happening in Australia? No, it is happening in Christchurch here in New Zealand. They have a really good spine. Here's Master Mel. And I think Australia and South Africa will be a bigger threat at the World Cup than France and Ireland. They almost beat them on their turf with BC sides. At full strength, they will be a threat. Says Papa Shango and no out-and-out superstars. Oh, no, they're actually... See, they're going back now to check potential obstruction, even though it's like a minute and a half after the try has been scored for the Storm. So what are we looking at for obstruction? Oh, they're going to say that he went behind young Tamamapea, and they're going to call that no try because of a little bit of obstruction for the Storm. And imagine Gats, Eddie, and even Razor himself in the same pool for their respective sides. As Sammy Souza, it's a no try against the Melbourne Storm. Does mean that the score with a minute and a half remaining will remain at 6-0 for the Warriors. And young obstructing Cameron Munster, says Nate there. And come on the ball, says Spider Meg. So you could say the right decision was made in the end, but did they need to wait 2 minutes and then right when he's about to kick it, then look at it? Or do you just look at it when it's there? You know? And also we have got the cringe at the thought of Razor coaching England. There's Mr. 267. Now the Warriors, though, they've got a minute left in the first half. Try and retain the lead. They'll go off to the left-hand side here. Curran. Number 16 for this game. 50 metres out. And still 50 seconds to work with. If they can get a line break here, the Warriors, they might be in. Now, nice run from Jackson Ford. Oh, he's thrown it away again. What's going on? Are they using the wrong balls or something? They haven't got the super gripper ones. Because everything's been dropped. Hopefully Razor coach Fiji for the Rugby World Cup 2023. And Razor can come coach the Brumbies or the Wallabies, says Master Mel. There's rumours that Razor's accepted the offer to coach Fiji. I'm still waiting for the official announcement next week from Fiji Rugby Union. Says Sammy Souza. That's going to be a big signing. Because you see what he does with the Crusaders and you wonder whether or not that can translate to international level. We've seen him coach like the Barbarians and whatnot. He seems to go all right in that department. But yeah, you wonder how he'd go with a side that in some of their international games are considered heavy underdogs, whether he can help them get some victories. Similar to what Eddie Jones did with Japan all those years ago. But now the Melbourne Storm, I believe this will be the final. No, they're going to have one more phase. Just enough time. Now, going out the back line, Jerome Hughes. In fact, the clock was very wrong. It's actually only 38 minutes through. Someone left it running, and that'll be 6 more. Now, that might be a huge setup because the Warriors, if they were looking up at the clock and the clock did end up saying 40 minutes, they would have thought we've just got to hold down one more tackle, but really they've got a minute left, and here come the Storm again. Good tackle made on Eisenhuth, whose name I say really wrong now. Meany goes on the outside. Great low tackle made. And the one-on-one for Vilea, but now only a couple meters out. Xavier Coates considers stretching. Doesn't get there in the end. Still 40 seconds. There's still this final set of this half here for the Storm. Munster looks for his options. Jerome Hughes has it. Short ball now off to Katoa. Last tackle. So this might end up being the last one of the day as well. Now with the grubber, he went really hard with that one. It's only a meter out from the line. Tried to kick it as if they were 30 out. And now the Warriors have ended up with this one. They just need to go, take their time in this phase, and then you head on into halftime with the 6-0 lead. It's hard to bowl South Africa at home, says Bodamek, and also Supmabro, Papachungo, welcome in. Razor, oh no, I read that one. And dodgy game clock. Warriors being robbed already, says Master Mel, and Nate just passing through. A really into preseason game, says Papachungo. There as well, but that will be the end of the half. I don't know why they've given the Storm back their 4 points. They did take it away before, I believe. Ben Goods rolled me ankles last week. Rugby League out for 2 weeks. And ironically, Razor himself mentioned wanting to go to Tier 2 nation apart from winning the World Cup with 2 different teams. Says Simi Souza. It was so good. Or Eddie Jones, was it? Rather than Razor? No. No. Was it Razor? The World Cup, though. And they needed some humble pie. And it was so good watching the Panthers get pumped last night by St. Helens. I don't know about pumped. It was 13-12, but they did end up losing, which was something that a lot of people didn't think was going to be possible. Yeah, will help grow the Panthers, hopefully. They might be a whole different beast this year in the NRL after that loss, perhaps. Say 6-0, yeah, it has changed back to the correct score, which is 6-0 for the Warriors. We've just seen the one try of Dallin Waitini Zalesniak. Did well for himself, broke through, and it was actually off a scrum. Just the first receiver. Ran it straight and went straight through all signs of defence for the Melbourne Storm. The second half, going to be interesting. Broncos winning it this year, says Master Mel. Are they? I'm just going to have a quick look and see exactly how everyone finished last year. And we're going to decide for these two sides, the Melbourne Storm and the Warriors, whether they're going to finish higher or lower than they did finish in their last year's performances. So, we won't have to scroll too high from the bottom for the Warriors. We're in the wrong section. We don't want NRL preseason. We want NRL in general. Go down. We're actually only 2 weeks away from the competition starting up. In fact, 11 days, and it's going to be Parramatta Eels taking on the Melbourne Storm. That'll be the first match of the day. So, last year, we saw the Melbourne Storm finish in 5th on 32 points. And then last year, we saw the Warriors finish in 15th, 14 points. Tied with the Knights and the Titans, but their points differential was slightly worse. So, question, ladies and gentlemen, will the Warriors finish higher than 15th? And will the Storm finish higher than 5th? What are we thinking? I went in a draw and pumped because they were written off and expected to lose by 30. Says Master Mel, and St. Helens beat them with a droppy at the death. I don't see how that's considered pumping Penrith. Says Simi Souza. We're undefeated so far in the trial games. A fair point, although I only see it as an upset. And only a miracle try on full time saw the Panthers force it into extra time. And is this a C team Stormers? Says Joseph. They've got a few big players missing, but you look at I look at 3 names: Xavier Coates, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes. Having those 3 on the field, and then also Harry Grant, Nelson Asafa Solomona. Yes, they're probably missing a couple of their players, like Ryan Pappenhausen, for an example. But other than that, they've got some good guys out there on the field. So they'll be a bit disappointed, I think, with that first half. But it was just that handling. Kept letting them down. And can the Storm lift so weak, says Jack. Yeah, they haven't had a good first half here at all. And the Warriors, to a certain extent, they'll feel that they haven't played that well either. In fact, it was that one line break that pretty much saw the Warriors get themselves the try. Other than that, everything else has almost been the Warriors on defense. And fair enough, bro. Your preseason like a trials match, Papa Shango, but yeah, I get you. And the Warriors 1-12, says Alex. Okay, so does anyone think the All Blacks can win the World Cup? I'm curious to know what happens if they do, because I want to know what happens with the coaching scenario. Whether it's going to be Ian Foster, if they win, do they keep him, seeing as he's a World Cup winning coach? Or do they switch him out, even though he's won a World Cup? So that's the tricky part. And preseason trials pretty much means an undersized strength Storm side anyways. Says Semisoza, and also I don't believe any Southern Hemisphere side will make the final because we will all get robbed by the refs in the bunker, says Master Mel. This is league, not union, says Jack Lewis. It is indeed. So that is why they are on 6 points, and it's not from 2 penalties in this matchup. It's funny the English League clubs dominated the World Cup challenges since it started. Your NRL fans are rubbish. The Super League, says Papa Shango. Yeah. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Warriors, higher than 15th finish. That's where they finished last season. I think they will. I hope they do anyway. Like, at the end of the day, they won 6 out of their 24 games. I think they can do better than that in the next season. And they might have had... Oh, they had a bye as well. Everyone had a bye, though. And then, alongside that, the Storm 5th is an interesting one, because if they had one more win, they would have shot themselves up just a little bit further. But their points differential was a lot better than the Eels, so you wonder whether or not the Storm will find themselves in the top 4. I think they will. And we lost by 267 in the cricket. We suck. Says get to the best. And don't mention that name again, Hamish. Foster at church called rugby. Says Nate, and anyway, solid defense by the New Zealand Warriors. Awesome day for an awesome commentary by the Kiwi lads. Says Blues Nate. But yeah, anyone who's new, sure leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Sup at Hamish. I don't know about this game. Is this a preseason game, bro? It is indeed. So the real season starts in 2 weeks' time. It is going to be Parramatta versus Melbourne, the first game of the comp. And then for the Warriors, their first matchup will be on Friday at 8 p.m. Warriors versus the Knights, their opening game. Warriors should do okay. Just don't be the fan who claims it's their year again, lol, says Master Mel. And I'm going to Highlanders versus Chiefs. I don't know what round, though. Let's get to the best. No win or lose. Fozzie has to go, says Papa Shango. So you're saying that you would sack a World Cup winning coach if New Zealand win it? I mean, Ian Foster, to be fair, it's ideal for him in a way, because the All Blacks will end up going, we don't want you anymore. Then another side who goes, he's won a World Cup, might as well sign him. He'll get another contract. So it's pretty much not so much Ian Foster trying to protect his job at the All Blacks, but it's creating another endeavour for him for his future. It'll be interesting. I don't think the TMO is that bad in union, at least with the new introduced laws in Super Rugby. Says Misoza, and come on, it's our year again, guys, says Obi. And also, Churchill, thanks. And I want Jason Ryan to coach the ABs. He's a good coach, Jason Ryan. Where's he ended up? He was a Fijian assistant coach, wasn't he, at one point for their forwards or one of those Pacific Island sides? If All Blacks keep it, or win it, keep Foz for another 4 years, says Master Mal. Man's got all the Warriors gear possible. I was mentioning how before the season I was considering getting a Warriors kit. But now, unfortunately, Warriors kits find themselves sitting at $160. Which is a lot. Although if you buy 4 or more items, you save 30% from Puma, which is where the Warriors gear is. What do we got? Warriors. You can get their unisex graphic tee. That's the one thing that's on special. In fact, my apologies. It's $180 for the Warriors kit. That's a lot of money for a kit. Jason Ryan was the Fiji forwards coach, says Timmy Souza. And also heading off for lunch, as usual. Great stream and banter. Might be back for the end of the game, says Master Mel. So we might see you a little bit later on. At least McDonald is the next best thing for Razor to replace Fozzie, especially with how he led the New Zealand 15 side. Jason Ryan and Andrew Webster have so much in common and dominant, says Nate. And also, you would look good in pink, Hamish, says Obi. I don't think I've got, oh no, I've got some pink stuff. I don't think I've worn any pink stuff on a live stream before. My face turns pink. I kind of look sunburnt, but we'll just call it tanned. We'll go with that anyway. Do they have pink for the Warriors? It's weird because they don't have the last year's gear. In fact, I'm going to do another Google while we're at half-time. Nice Warriors. Says Ricky, yeah, leading this one at the moment. 6 points to nil. It was almost 6-4, but it did end up getting a disallowed try for the Melbourne Storm. Oh, the kids. Oh, no. I was going to say, oh, the jersey's on special, but it's the kids one for $90. $160 for the home jersey. No, $180. Yeah, so everywhere is $180 for the Warriors kit. I really should have got one in the off season. I blew it there. Although saying that, it does have a bit of green on it. If I was wearing it and I had the green screen, it might look a little bit weird. Are Super Rugby kits from last year still on special, or are they now bumped up as well, I'd assume? Yeah. Looking at the stats, the Melbourne Storm have more possession. Yep, that's still $180. And for the Hurricanes, their kit, $150. God. If only the Warriors were good, just so that the South Island gets another NRL team, says Sammy Soz and the Drua by 10. Is that the Drua by 10? Oh, looking forward to Fiji and Drua versus Moana Pacifica. Yeah, it should be a good game. Pacific Island clash. It overlaps with our game of cricket that I'm playing in real life, but I believe I might be missing that game. Or if I am playing, I'll only be playing half of a match if they're shorter numbers. How much is the Drua kit? So for the Fijian Drua, Fiji Drua, do they sell it at Rebel Sport? They do. A men's replica kit is $150. Or you can get the Performance Tee, which is similar, except just not quite as high quality. Or the run-out kit they've actually got. So it's a bit different. But that's $90. Yeah, $150 for the Drua kit. And we could call the second New Zealand team the Floods, says Obi there. And well, if we can win the World Cup with Fozzie, we can win the World Cup with any coach given Fozzie's poor record, says Papa Shango. But yeah, I think it will definitely, if he somehow wins the World Cup, that will give him another job afterwards type thing, which will be what he's after, because at the end of the day, he wouldn't want another payday. And I was like, well, it's the one legit time Samoa, Tonga, and Cook Islands gang up on Fiji next weekend, says Sammy Soza. But we're currently seeing the two sides huddled in their changing sheds, ready to go for the second 40 minutes. And Bulls Fiji, says Octodad in there. But it is a shame that kits cost so much money to a certain extent, because, like, yes, they're relatively high quality, but the fact that during the season they're $180 and during the off season they're about $60 or $70, it's a bit rough. And also Bulla Fiji for Octodad there. Right. Oh, they're actually showing a promo for Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury on the 27th of February. I didn't think that Sky would have picked that one up, but they have. Interesting. It's going to be an interesting boxing fight. I know that Tommy Fury has said that he's going to retire if he does lose it. I don't know how many of you guys follow the old boxing scene in terms of the crossover influence of boxing as well as the main boxing. So I think the irony between the old Southern Orcas initiative being a good name too, is Sammy Soza, and also can get the Drua kit on Fiji markets, Latoka market, or Latotha, sorry, I should say. Is it a legitimate kit though, or is it a cheap like knockoff version? Because I have an All Blacks polo that I got from Bali that cost me about $10, and I know that ain't the real kit, but yeah, you can get kind of those slight like replicas that look pretty good, but just aren't quite the legitimate ones. All right, the Warriors to kick off the second half, and we are back underway, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there will be a few more subs being made throughout the second 40 minutes. And the token market says Simi Souza there. Now, Grant goes across, already a relatively aggressive run from Jordan Grant to start off the second 40. I'm wondering whether the second 40 is going to fly by or if it's going to feel like a slightly slower half. And yes, there's Octodad there. Yeah, I remember when we were in Bali, this is like a good few years ago. I wore a singlet because it was very hot. And I just remember getting heckled by the guys in the market. Like, because pretty much they wanted to sell me stuff and I wasn't buying. So they were like, yeah, tough guy with the singlet, eh? Yeah, come get another singlet. Tough guy. Even though I was like this tall. I was a child. But I've also seen some pictures of me from that trip, and I was also a little round ball of fluff. I was. Now, Warriors possession at the moment, 3 phases in. Not good at Fiji spelling yet, says Octodad. No worries. It's going to be there, number 16 there. Curran, now Johnson's dropped it, but it's going to be a penalty going the way of the Warriors. I believe it was actually slapped down when he tried to pass it across. Yeah, I think that's the only time I've ever been called tough guy. But it was just because they wanted to sell me a singlet. As all good, at least you made your point, says Simi Souza. I said that very aggressively for one that finished in a smiley face, didn't I? That kick's gone out. Not the best kick downfield from Sean Johnson, but he's found touch, which is the main thing. Now it's going to be Montoya with the first carry there. In fact, my apologies, it is Viliami Voilea. Did have that one. Curran on off again to Fanua Blake, and Fiji can make the quarterfinals. Win against win against Wales, Georgia, and Portugal. Cheers, Nate. See, when you list it like that, it doesn't seem like a huge task, does it? But of course, Fiji in the past, we have seen them have that situation where they win the hard games, but then lose the easier ones. That one's going to be knocked on by the Storm again. So it's going to be the Warriors' ball. Or is it? They're going to go upstairs. Captain's challenge by the sounds of it. I think that the first knock on was from the Warriors. New Zealand are challenging. I'm not sure where the knock on was. No, it doesn't, boss. Here's Nate. Dr. Dad, don't worry, I spell English wrong all the time. Perfect example with the spell. Warriors successful challenge again. 2 in a row. And that is also something we won't be saying throughout the NRL season for the NZ Warriors. It's going to be the Warriors' ball. They're only about 10 or 12 meters out now from the Storm line. This will be a good opportunity and go the drawer. And the Wales game is what Fiji is targeting since that's the opening pool game. Ironically, and the drawer is helping a lot with cohesion, tying together for the Flying Fiji, and says Simi Souza, yeah, if Fiji get their full strength side, which they certainly should, why didn't Sean Johnson pass that ball? Be taken down less than 10 meters away from the line. Oh, it's dropped clean by Viliami. These men have been playing with the butter. Oh, he's hurt himself, has he? I'd stay down too. But yeah, he might have an injury at the moment. Yeah, the mighty Warriors. Riki. But yeah, like you look at some of those guys. The fact that Tui Sova might struggle to make the starting lineup because they've got the likes of a Vinaya Habosi. He's currently playing extremely well. I don't know whether Radradra is going to be available for them, but they've got a lot of great players. Lavani Bortia, Tui Thuvu. Like you've got a whole heap of overseas talent. Naya Thalevu. Ben Vulliville is an interesting one. I don't know whether or not people want him to be the 10, and Storm looks like an ordinary first-grade club. Says Nate. But Williami and Voilea have both had terrible games, unfortunately. After such good performances last week, backing it up with these performances, it makes it hard to know if they're actually going to get themselves a spot in the starting lineup for next week's game up against the Knights, or the 2 weeks' time, I should say. They're going to be playing on the 3rd of March. And I have a mate who takes regular trips to Bali. He always bartered with shop owners to the point they would get mad at him, and they nicknamed him Stingy White Boy. Nice. See, that's the thing. The barter system is something that we don't really have here, of course, but it does take a bit to get used to, because you got to try and, like, it's kind of like going to a pawn shop. And of course, I'm saying PAWN rather than the other way. Spelling a beautiful short ball for the Storm, and that will be through first try of the match. And it is going to be Katoa who runs it in. I don't think they'll be able to check too much for that. The Warriors conceding early in the second half. Exactly what they need. They have remembered him for years and continues to harass him year after year. Says James. Imagine Fiji beating the Wallabies, making it 4 wins, finishing on the top of their pools. Boo, says Teriki, and a Storm try. Says Nate. So yeah, it was a nice offload from Harry Grant. Then Munster saw the short ball, actually Lewin and Volkman, which left the gap on the outside. Straight through they go. And also we have got the yes, says Spider Mick as well. Now the Warriors conceding early, not what they want. No problem for Fiji on the wings in the midfield, especially when the Drua helps provide potential front rowers, fly halves, and fullbacks in the making, since that's been an issue in the past on depth, says Sammy Sosa. Yeah, it's just about not letting the occasion get to the Fijians in those matches, and also just playing like they normally do. Like, we've seen them cause some upsets over the last little while. It's a great run initially from Harry Grant, though, to create that opportunity for the Storm. And Munster found the short ball to Katoa. Should be a nice, easy conversion here for them as well. And also, they still got to get the conversion first. They do, although it is from about 12 metres out in front. Yeah, but come on, it's funny, says James in there. The fact that they remember him is quite impressive. That kick's gone over. Nicely done. 6 points to all now. 6 points each. And also, Videri's RIP nephews, my farm workers. They've been playing for United Meta Sports. Oh, okay. So, who knows? Maybe future talent there. Are they playing? So, United Meta Sports, how high is that in terms of division-wise? Is that the top, like, club division outside of the Bunnings NPC type thing, or is it a couple down? Anything can happen if Fiji do get Razor as coach? That's possible. Says Simi Soza. It's a tricky one, though, because Fiji are one of those sides that you don't really want to take away that flair that they have themselves, like, naturally. But then also maybe you do need to take a little bit of it away. And also we have got there Jolly Videri and Top Waikato Club Rugby. Says Octodad, that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Melbourne Storm. Warriors just starting to get a little bit sloppy here at the moment. Also not surprised at the Storm being average with the new bloods on show. Says Simizoza kicked in a touch by Jerome Hughes, who gave that one a mighty boot. But yeah, the first round fixtures that we have got coming up. On Thursday, the 2nd of March, it will be the Eels versus the Storm. Warriors play the Knights. Panthers play the Broncos. They are both on Friday. Then Saturday, it is Sea Eagles versus Bulldogs, Cowboys versus Raiders, and Sharks versus Rabbitohs. Then on the Sunday, it's Dolphins versus Roosters and Tigers versus Titans. Now going off to the left-hand side, Jerome Hughes, inside ball. Now the Storm, ever since scoring that first try, now seem like they've found that extra gear that they were after. That is another sneeze. It's unfortunate. That sounds like a 6 again. Yes, it is. Oh, great tackle. And it knocked the ball free as well. So the Warriors, they probably dodged a bit of a bullet there by making that massive hit. I believe that was actually Jordan Grant who got driven backwards in that challenge. He's not a small individual either. Unless he says up to Ted. Cheers. It's always live stream wise. I don't know why, but anytime I start streaming, I just start sneezing. I think it is actually, I use this excuse all the time, but I think it is the case. It's the light. the ring light, as you can see, it's quite bright. It's like looking at the sun and then you all of a sudden randomly sneeze. And Dylan Walker on. God, he's a Warriors boy now. Here's Nate, nice run. Almost going through there for Fanua Blake, but the Warriors now moving to 40 metres out from the Storm line. Walker. A few extra metres, 62 in total for the Warriors there. Now going after Sean Johnson. Hangs on to it, goes for the chip high. Coming up for that one, not quite taken cleanly by Watiti Zalesniak. Now the Warriors, they do have to keep this one alive. They've done well. Now Nicole Clockster. Look for the pass across. It's loose from the Warriors. Now kicking that one high as he ever could. I think it's only travelled forward about 4 metres. And then taken by the Storm. Pressure relieved. I know Byrne is harnessing flair with structure, but not too much as seen in the draw trial match with the Force earlier this week. It was a high scoring one too, wasn't it? Oh, that's a big slip. Almost goes underneath there for Jeremiah. Now off to the right, Jerome Hughes juggling, still juggling. It's gone backwards though, and the Warriors have been able to steal that ball. Volkman with another turnover and a breakdown or slash just on the loose ball. Now the Warriors number 25, Edward Corsi. One of his first carries of the match. Sean Johnson goes short ball now. Crossed a Bunty Afoa. We saw quite a bit of him in the last week's game up against the Tigers. We got this game in the bag, keeping the faith. Teriki there. And yeah, still plenty of time left. 30 minutes on the clock. Nice short ball again. Both sides seem to be a lot more free-flowing in the second half in terms of the meters made. It could be due to fatigue of the opposition. Another offload from the Warriors, trying to keep it alive now. Finding the offload to Nicole Clockstead. Doesn't get through the tackle attempt of Munster. Also almost loses his shorts in the process. Now Johnson, short side, quick hands, goes for the kick. Think it's going to go into touch though for Watini Zalesniak. And that will be going back to the 20-metre line. Melbourne Storm with the quick tap. Yeah, there'll be some interesting matchups in that first week of the NRL. I mentioned about it on the live stream last night that we were doing. I think that was the second one, the 4 a.m. stream. We said that I'm going to be doing my full schedule for the next 8 months in terms of competitions that we're covering, when certain rounds of certain competitions are taking place. And even if it's not game by game, but just working out when the gaps are and when we are going to be live. And I don't know whether or not I don't know if I'll post it, just because I feel like if I don't do some of the streams, I don't want to let you guys down with not getting them done. But I'll probably post the general gist of it in terms of what competitions. That looks like it's a great run from the Storm. Too high for the tackle attempt from the Warriors. And now Will Walker, man, who's hardly even been in this match so far. And 6-26 for the Storm, says here for the full score prediction. And do you remember the last time Warriors beat the Storm, Hamish? I think it was actually in preseason a couple years ago. But in a regular season game is something that... What did they go 1-1 last year?
1-1 last year.
1-1 last year, I've just heard from my dad, who is conveniently walking past at the right time. Warriors of the Storm's bogey team, I've just been informed as well. There you go. So, the Warriors lost to the Storm 24 points to 12 last year, but then that game prior to that, wait, no, they didn't go 1-1 last year. It might have been the year before, sorry. They did lose 70-10 against the Warriors there as well. Yeah, so they won preseason 30 points to 18. And also, well, bartering is quite popular in Asia Pacific. It was revived in Fiji during COVID. It's still thriving despite normalcy. Returning, says Semi Sosa. Do you remember that? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? So then I'm just looking at the year prior. Storm beat the Warriors 42 points to 16. And then, no, they beat them 42-20 the year prior. And then they were going to be playing them in preseason. So maybe it's just the preseason games that the Warriors seem to be able to beat them. We're going to go back to 2020 now. We're going to find it. It's going to be somewhere here. Warriors in 2020 lost 50 points to 6. And then they lost 18 points to 16, right? We're going to 2019. I remember the preliminary final in 2011. Melbourne Storm always a late bloomer to the party. Right, we're in 2019. And they lost 13 points to 12. The Warriors, oh no, it's preseason. That doesn't really count. So they beat them in preseason all the time. But they don't beat them in the regular season. And 32-12 says here, but now the score at 6 points to 12. Munster decides to take the first carry, which is brave because he had a big man running at him. Storm, a totally different team. The top guns aren't playing, especially during preseason. So that could be one of the reasons Warriors beat the Storm. Says Tiariki. Now they've been told to release. That is Barnett. I call the 6 more. 53 minutes through, even though it says 57. It is just that little bit ahead at the moment. Now going off to the side again. That time it was Christian Welch. In fact, no, sorry, it's the number 19. Wishart, who's recently made his way out there. Now Jerome Hughes tries to step, almost went through. Oh, bit high there on Wishart, but he was slipping down. What content are you going to put? The Kiwi That Sport channel, says Darren. That is a good question. Because we were going to have it as the other sports other than rugby, but then this channel's kind of just become other sports other than rugby as well. So I believe the sport channel, I mean, we could probably find some sort of content to put on there, but for now it's kind of a backup just in case this channel gets hit with a copyright strike. But we've got a few ideas. We're always brainstorming. I've got a list of about 100 ideas of different videos that I'd like to film at some point. Some of them aren't sport related though, so I guess that doesn't really work for the sport channel, but some of them could end up on that channel or this channel. Somewhere anyway, we'll end up, hopefully. And the Warriors 15 final. Up to the halfway line, Sean Johnson kicks it downfield. Waiting for this one to come down nicely, taken at the back by Meany. Now gives it off again to Jeremia as 6 to 16 now to Storm. Full time will be 26-6 to the Storm. It shows the game low. Sadly, licensing means that I'm unable to. If I could, I definitely would be though. It's just a shame because as soon as I show any match footage or audio, they take us off YouTube for 3 months. Which is rough. But the highlights will be up on the NRL YouTube channel, I believe, straight after the game. So there's only another 26 minutes till that will happen. But yeah, it's a shame because copyright-wise, there was any way of showing it without getting struck down, like we would heavily consider it. And you could put NFL and NBA on your second channel, says Darren. Although I don't really follow those two competitions that heavily, I guess you could say. But like, maybe we could see. I see Cheer go to Warriors, says too. Do you think they'll make the comeback here too? 25 minutes left in the matchup. They've got time and they've had a little bit more possession over the last 5 or so. Kiwi Lad Sport is definitely back up just in case of the copyright police raid this one, says Semi Soda. Yeah. Which can happen. And the worst thing is normally it's like another YouTube channel that decides that they want to raid us with a copyright strike. And we have got there. What are you saying? Suggest you hop back on your spaceship decorated with Christmas tree lights. Says Nate there. Okay, 5th and final again. 42 meters gained. Late shot on the Warriors kicking. It's going to be going deep now. Deciding that he's got to try and run this one back here. Will be Walker. In fact, it's Warbrick. Okay, looks like there's a player down at the back for the Warriors, unfortunately. Hopefully nothing too serious. The last thing you want is to get injured in preseason. That just kind of ruins the season for you. Now, Meany doesn't quite break through. That'll be the 3rd tackle now. Now going off to the right-hand side. Oh, that was high. That was kind of flipping him on the jaw, but Munster's not happy. Finds the offload, though. Jeremia, who now charges hard. Tackled down by Fanua Blake, and they'll go back for the original high shot. 24 minutes remaining. If the Warriors want a chance, they're going to have to score very soon. Yeah, still stretching that one out. Ronald Volkman I hope that he's all right because he has played very well throughout this matchup. In fact, both number sixes have done nicely. So that was a high tackle from Sean Johnson. He hasn't done too much right in this matchup, unfortunately. Okay, it looks like he will be staying down a little bit here, Volkman. You don't want to risk him. I think they've got to take him off the field. And good thing we don't do that here. It's told by T'Challa, says Simi Souza. Tackle bust, we're seeing 24 from the Melbourne Storm, 8 from the Warriors. Storm 30 points to 6 over the Warriors. Says Amore there. And good thing. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? So a lot of people going for about that 20 to 28 point difference. Seems to be somewhere in that margin. I will say 20 to 30 point difference seems to be the most predicted scoreline throughout this matchup so far. Now Munster goes off short. Storm 23 meters out and only on their second phase. Now Hughes goes back across to Grant. Nice set play. Meany goes wide out to Iramia. Oh, he's curled up into a ball. What's happened to him? Okay, just check there's not a hip drop. They've just said. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Yeah, he doesn't look good at him now. I don't know if it's concussion. Did he take a head knock or? Oh, he caught the forearm to the head. And then he kind of held his knee. He became a cannonball. Yeah, so I think his knee's hurting more than his head in this case. Okay, that's going to be on report for a hip drop tackle. So that'll be against Watene Zalesniak. So depending on what they rule there was a chance that he might not get to play in the first match of the NRL. And T'Challa says no. Right, they're having the drinks break now. So they've said it's a hip drop tackle. Yeah, I don't think that will become anything more serious than a penalty. Like, I don't see it being anything more on report. To be honest, there was very minimal, like, I guess, what's it called? Minimal. I can't think of the right word, but it wasn't on purpose from Watene Zalesniak. And I've got to hear, yeah, wouldn't have felt nice on the knee. Up the Storms, there's Amore. Just showing the highlights. The Storm, 2 tries so far in the second half. Great run from Cameron Grant to set up the first, then gave it to Munster. And then just that little pop pass up into the hands of their number 12, Katoa. He was able to score the first for the Storm, and then the second came not too long after. In fact, I believe it was Munster. No, Munster's was disallowed, wasn't it? When was the other try? It wasn't too far after that, was it? For the Melbourne Storm. And it was Will Warbrick, in fact, that I've just remembered did score their next try. And then for the Warriors, we're just seeing Watene Zalesniak, the 1 try scorer from that line break off the scrum. Just went with the nice pop pass up, and it did end up going successfully. And down the Storm says Mr. 267. Yeah, Warbrick. Couple tackle attempts from the Warriors, just a bit too high. Rather than going around the bootlaces, but we've got the 3-minute drink break, and then we are straight back into the action, ladies and gentlemen. Currently 57 minutes through. This says 64, but it's lying. So we won't actually update it until we get to the 64th minute, and then from there they'll probably be at about 70 or so. They are just showing the next preseason challenge game will be West Tigers versus Raiders. That one's kicking off at 4:55 p.m. New Zealand time from Belmore Sports Ground. Same can be said about that Bulldogs versus Sharks game, also taking place in Sydney. That will be at 7 p.m. kickoff. And then the final game of the night, the Dolphins taking on the Titans at KO Stadium in Redcliffe. Be a good game to watch right at the end of the evening. And Storm all the way, says Amore in there as well. Looks like a decent crowd, though. In some regards, and good news for the Black Caps. There's one more match in the series. That's the spirit. Yeah, they did not go well in that first match, did they, Seb? Unfortunately. All the way to the wooden spoon. There's Mr. 267 there. Sebastian, you're a smart man. Warriors, can they come back from being 6 down at the moment? And the Storm are in a very good position, so they might be 12 down in a very short moment. Oh, it's a second tackle. Not going to be 6 more. He was asking for it, but he doesn't get it in the end now. Nice pass back. Here they come again. The Storm with the quick hands doesn't quite get there. In fact, they do get the set restart in the end. It's a very late call, but a nice run forward from Fa'alogo. Now, almost through was Wishart. 10 metres out from the line now, the Melbourne Storm. They've got numbers on this left-hand side. If they decide to use it instead, they go right. Give the short ball off to Welsh, who found the offload again. Now the grubber and behind kicking early. It's gone dead. That was a weird choice. The Warriors will end up with the ball. Who's got the ball, says Alex. The Storm did have it. Now the Warriors will have themselves the 20-metre attack. They have to fight the Broncos, Tigers, and Bulldogs for that, and that's the Warriors' wooden spoon this year, says Amore. First tackle made. Still 21 minutes left at the moment on the clock. The Storm defending. Warriors driving forward. This time it was the run from Liatoa, I believe it is. The Storm, they're starting to commit a lot more men to the tackles. 2 and 3, which seems like they found that little bit of extra stamina. Stop the Warriors from making huge amounts of distance, although that's a great run from Tohu Harris. Now moves the Warriors to 40 metres out from the Storm line. They're up to their 4th, so one more big phase here, and they might have an up and under attempt. Now it's going off. Going to be elastic. The ball's gone high. That's gone bouncy the wrong way, and it's gone out. But it didn't go out on the full, so the Melbourne Storm now, they will have themselves the ball again. Also, we have got the Aloku as return. Welcome back, Paddy. Hope you are doing well and come on the Warriors, says Alex. And hope you're well, Paddy. And I love the Warriors to make a comeback, says Sebastian. No game set a match. Storm wins, says Amore. Yeah, it would be the first time that the Storm have beaten the Warriors in a preseason game in quite some time. I went back as far as about 2019. And that was even then the Warriors winning the preseason matchups. 20 minutes remaining on the clock. Short passes. Asafa Solomona. That's that one up. Trying to stop him from making those extra meters. Oh, he's just been almost fended in the face there. And Ben Maher, he's got a big smile on his face, although most people would be sleeping after that shot from Asafa Solomona. Out. Here comes Welch again. He's got a little bit of damage showing on his forehead. That's why he's got the strapping around it. Might have done an eyebrow. 5th and final. Now it's gone high. Going to be contestable. I think he might have been taken out, but the ball bounces up to the Storm, so it's not going to matter. As now Xavier Coates has cleaned it up only 5 metres out from the line. I'm assuming you haven't slept yet, Hamish, after the Morning Glory stream. So I managed to sneak a few hours. I think I might have got 5 or 6 after the morning streams, but I am still definitely a little bit behind in sleep. The penalty goes the way of the Warriors. No, the penalty is not going to be played because it's actually a try for the Melbourne Storm. They've got him for the try. He got long arm, Joe Chan. Because that didn't look like he was going to get close. Let's go New Zealand Warriors, says Yale. And there, and no game set of Matt Storms wins. I'm currently sick, but other than that, I'm good as can be. So Xavier Coates got the loose ball. Now, this run here, I'm interested to see. Because Joe Chan picks the ball up. Looked like he should have been held up. Looked like he was forced back over the line, but must have did a back like arm roll thing. So that wasn't down. That wasn't down. That wasn't down. That was never down. So I think they're going to have to check this one. I don't believe this is going to be considered as a try. Yeah, he didn't get that down. Come on, ref. No. Let's go New Zealand Warriors. Yeah, I'll end up sleeping a little bit later on tonight and should catch up a bit. I'm a little bit worried, though, because I said that the cricket video was going to be out on Monday, and I haven't actually had a chance to edit it since about Friday night. So it may be a little bit further behind than I first anticipated. But the good news is, even when cricket season's almost over here in New Zealand, I'll still have videos that I will be able to put out. Yeah, ball doesn't get to the ground. And then he was dragged back into the field of play where he's out. He claimed it, but that's because his elbow smacked the ground. Try good ref, says Buttermilk. And isn't it summer in New Zealand? How can you be sick during the summer? Other than being hungover after drinking all night on the beach, says Sebastian there. So it is called no try. That's actually the second one that's been ruled out for the Melbourne Storm. But because it's held up, they're still actually only 5 meters out from the line. And now through the hands, it's a loose ball. The Warriors jump on it and they'll get it back again. Unfortunately for the Storm, every once in a while, they just make these little mistakes that are keeping the Warriors in the game. Now, also, well, it hasn't really been a summer, says Bedza. Yeah, see, I feel like us in the, that's high. Got him on the chin. Didn't even rock the big man. He's smiling about it. Oh, Male. Got a chin made of granite. Now the Warriors will be able to kick it. Touch, it hasn't been -degrees either, says Sebastian. A milestone chat to. One moment. We'll go like this. Oh, they've kept it in the field of play again, the Warriors. That's the second time that they have missed the touchline. A big mistake to have. Thought you'd be watching Elimination Chamber. Right. So no spoilers, Robert, for what has been happening. I am probably going to be watching it a little bit later on tonight. So that is why I've been not keeping a close eye on it, but I haven't been seeing any results or anything because I'm going to be watching it later on. Yeah, be sure not to put any spoilers in there, but that is going to be the plan. That's a great tackle made. But the Melbourne Storm find themselves in an attacking position on the field, 23 meters out. Another step here will be Chris Lewis. And also Melbourne Storm got this game. Damn, ref, says Amore there. Now off to the left-hand side again. Here come the Storm. Grub it in behind. It's going to sit up there for the Warriors. Be able to regather. They've just found themselves stuck inside of their own half here, and the Storm may only be a matter of time. They eventually break through that pressure. Now Lussick going off to Dylan Walker. Good evening, Jen, Sebastian, Robert. What's going on, Stranger? Or what's going on, Stranger? Our balls is good. Arohanui, lads. I struggled to read that, didn't I? Right, that's going to be the fourth tackle. Lussick goes off now to Tohu Harris. They've only made the 41 meters, which sounds like quite a few, but they're still inside of their own half. This needs to be a massive boot downfield. It's down to 30 meters. What's the score? It's currently 6 points to 12. The scoreboard is a little bit wrong. Hopefully it updates soon, though, and goes back to 6 points to 12. Big love, Nate. Here's Sebastian there. I was like, oh, good boss. And Black Kids better win next test. They really need to win. Here's Panzer Blaze. They certainly do. Aussie, if they win their first or their next one that they're playing now up against India, that would be quite cool because then it's that little bit more suspense for the series. And also, so what do you think of Warriors taking games to Christchurch with Auckland damage? Says Robert. I'm glad that they were able to make this game happen. Oh, it's a knock-on again. Oh, it's a double knock-on. Everyone's dropping the ball, but the Warriors will have to scrum on the halfway line. The crowd, I'll be honest, for a game that's in the preseason, I would have liked to see a few more in attendance, but this side of the ground looks pretty full. It's just down the end. They didn't quite have it full. And also, Amore has put that. Okay. No more spoilers, Amore, if you can avoid it, please. Just because I'm hoping to watch it without knowing what's happened in the majority of the matches. But that one, I guess, is now not going to be counted, I guess you could say. Now, the Warriors sitting 14 minutes out. Thank you, ref. Says Teriki. Now, another big bit of contact. He doesn't look happy with it. Trying to break through. Josh Curran. Now, Ale again. And also, you asked nicely not to spoil anything, says Sebastian there. Yeah, some people read that as tell me exactly what you don't want to know. Oh, big drop on him in there. Now, the Warriors again going off, looking for the try. Nice selling a dummy. Here they come, only 5 meters out now. Fifth and final for the Warriors. The Storm New Bloods pulling away now. That's going to be the grubber, and it's loose, and the Storm have been able to get it. But then that is slightly also my fault because I did put a few of the names of wrestlers in as words that can't be put in the chat, and those are two that I missed. So it is still my fault as well, I guess. That's the thing. Anytime any UFC event or anything like that's on, if I'm doing a different live stream and not watching it live, I'm always gonna have some that I don't get to find out at the time what happens type thing. Now to the right-hand side, kicked in behind. That's a 40-20 attempt. Oh, slipping. Did his foot go into touch? It did, and it will be the 40-20. Well, kind of a 40-20. It was taken into touch by the Warriors, and now the Storm have got all the momentum with only the little bit of time left on the clock. Massive kick downfield, beautifully done. And unfortunately, the feet just slipped out from underneath him there. Was it Soronen? Yeah. Foot goes into touch for him. In fact, it was the number 25, Edward Costi. We have got a 20. Jeez. That's a big Nathan. That is a woot with a controller going like this. What even is that? Is it a controller with legs? It kind of looks like it's supposed to be a half dog, half controller, doesn't it? Thank you very much, Nathan. You're a very generous individual, aren't you? The Storm New Blood's pulling away now. And oh, he didn't spoil Elimination Chamber. He was spoiling the trail game for you. Trial, sorry. And also the Warriors, well known for driving too fast and then smashed into the brick wall, says Spider Mech. Once again, they're gone. And also Hamish shouting KFC, says Blues now. I've been over on Twitch for a bit. That's close. I think Nelson Solomona, did he go in? Yep, it's going to be a try again. This referee's very keen to award everything. But I think this time it might be the try. It looks like the old school controller. I'm getting slightly nostalgic looking at it. Says Sebastian. Right, the bunker's got to confirm this one, but they went to the short side. Does Nelson Solomona got close? Maybe that extra push. I think Lussick might have actually ended up bumping them down. So it was being held up. Yep, down. I think it was in the end actually Ben Farr who ended up just putting that extra bit of pressure down on his back. What's the actual score? So it is currently sitting 16 points to 6 for the Melbourne Storm. Woot woot party, says Nate. But Nelson Asafa Solomona, the big man, gets himself the Tri Classic Warriors. Unfortunately, burn out in the last couple more minutes. Here's Sammy Souza. And they've still got 10 to go, so this score could start to look ugly in a short moment. Yeah, I think in the end, it was great work from Tuaupiki, but then it was actually that extra bit of pressure from Ben Farr, who jumped on top of him rather than jumping to the side. And Warriors don't play a Mount Smart till round 4, says Robert there. So are they playing at Christchurch until then, Robert, or do they have somewhere else that they will be playing? But that is going to be converted. 18 points to 6 now in favour of the Melbourne Storm. Now just the 10 minutes to go. We will go like this. And we will go like that. There we go. I should also probably go like this and put my phone on charge, seeing as it's 2%. Here we go. 8 seconds left to take the kick here for the Warriors. Okay, they can go now. Kicked off, bounces. Now the Melbourne Storm once again going to be throwing some of these big men who've come off the bench. This time it is the number 15, Josh King. In fact, Josh King looks like he's grown since the start of this match. I thought he was a guy off the bench, but he's actually just himself. Are they playing full 80 minutes? They are indeed. At least Mount Smart has another tenant in Moana Pacifica while the Warriors are away. Here's Sammy Souza. Very true. I'd love to see Moana Pacifica play in Samoa, though. That is one thing that I wish that they would do for this season, but I don't think they do they? Oh, he's picked up by both legs there, Josh King. Another good run that time. It was Lewis. Now, Jonah Pizzette gives it off to Remus Smith, who's been quiet in the last little while. Here comes Montoya. What can he do? Taken down early. This has been good defence from the Storm, though. Wellington in round 1 to 3. Away games in Australia. There's Robert. Now, the Warriors, if they want any chance of somehow drawing this matchup, they need to score right now, or at least in the next couple minutes anyway. Another run, this time from Liatawa. Off to the right. Almali. Vlasic goes off now to R4. Nice drive, still going forward there. For Bunty R4, fifth and final now for the Warriors, making 44 metres. Kicked high from Dylan Walker. In fact, it was Paul Roach. Speaking of 24s, there's going to be Fa'alongo who has taken that one. And also, Moana do have one game in Samoa this season, just not too sure who they'll play against, though. Oh, so they get one game. Good. I want to see more of them playing in the Pacific Islands, seeing as, like, don't get me wrong, playing their games at Mount Smart is great, but, you know, they want to have some big games. Oh, that was the leg given out there. Did I accidentally... Oh, no, it's glitched. It took away your super sticker for a second. There we go, Nathan. That was weird. Because I was like, I didn't even press the button to put it down. And it just kind of disappeared itself. Now, Melbourne Storm, fifth and final again. Sitting 30 metres out from the line. Looking to put the ball high. Pizzette. Now, waiting for this one to come down. This is going to be taken beautifully by the Storm. And they'll get themselves another. And this time out on the wing, it's Xavier Coates, who was lurking. Melbourne Storm now 22 points to 6 up over the Warriors. Warriors doing all right so far in preseason. There's Peds Blaze. So the Broncos, they've got done good too. There's Robert, but the ball was put high off the kick, and then Xavier Coates takes it. And I wonder, was it the right decision there from Taupiki? He was looking at the man before he was looking at the ball. And that time, actually, it was Kossi. And then Taupiki came in with the second tackle. Xavier Coates says, Nate, agreed. Hopefully more games and up here, hopefully I said it correctly, and Nuku'alofa, respectively beyond Mount Spa, Auckland. Yeah, get a game in Tonga, get a game in Samoa. What's it like in the Cook Islands? Get a game there as well. Make it a homecoming for some of those guys. Although I can only think of about one Cook Islands player off the top of my head. And I think he's still in the Moana Pacifica side. Maybe? What's his face? He's one of the locks. I can't remember his name, though. And that was me. Says Robert there. That was me. What was you? The old school controller? No. Maybe Sebastian's one. Did it not come through? Oh, there we go. And just the mod. Really Irish know about this. There we go. Member for 18 months, Seb. 18 months. That's a year and a half. That's like over 500 days that you haven't gone, no, I might cancel this month. It's very impressive. 6 minutes left. Warriors now 24 points to 6 down. It was a good start. 6-0 at half time. Improvement to be made. Now 6 minutes. Left it also, we have got their Storm, the team to beat. Says Spidey, short pass. And that's the thing, without Ryan Papanezen out there, like when he's back out there, he's going to be handy. A game in Rarotonga would be nice too. Yep. Get them in Rarotonga. See, there's a lot of locations they could go, isn't there? Now another run. 5 minutes remaining. And at the moment for the Warriors, it's just about not conceding another try. At this point, salute says, Nate, okay. Gain an extra 5 meters or so. Then he feels that he should have the referee, so he sends him back. Now, going to be Wishart. Couple meters, mate. Third, in fact, fourth tackle now, mate. And also, they've been watching for nearly 2 years. April 2021 when I found the channel in the Super Rugby season. And there's Sebastian. Yeah, ever since, you've probably had about the strange sleep schedule as us, maybe? Because, like, at the moment, what time is it for you, Sebastian? It's like the middle of the night, isn't it? You got your glass of blood, you're all good. And Luke Metcalf, so underrated. Yeah, I think Hopefully they use him more throughout the season. Big push from the Warriors, but this is just using up more time now. Both sides just going mainly finishing their set, then kicking, finishing the set, then kicking, going back and forth. I think the Warriors really need to win a penalty or something at this point to then be able to get it into touch. Ref is being trashed because Sports String Chat says to me. So, although, I mean, is that because of the decisions against the Storm or the decisions against the Warriors? Because he has had he's had a mixed bag, the referee, but you'd say that he's probably been just as bad for both sides. Because, like, the Warriors have had 2 overall captain's challenge, successful captain's challenge, I should say. And then the Melbourne Storm have had 2 disallowed tries. So you'd say, actually, no, you'd probably say that the Warriors have had the rub at the green in this matchup to a certain extent. And also 3:35 in the UK, woke up to watch the ending of the test match, and I switched over to the rugby league once the test was done, says Sebastian. So do you think you'll head to bed again after this one, Sebastian, or are you up for the day now? And 30 points to 6 to the Storm. It's going to be close, that scoreline. Currently only 3 minutes left. Now off to the left again for the Storm. So it'll be the 5th and final tackle made on Jordan Grant. Now 54 metres gained again. It looked like the Storm are considering actually running this one. They find one offload. Now offload on the outside. Beautiful stuff. Inside ball. Going for the chip in behind, but the Warriors should have this one covered. In fact, it is going to be the young number 22, Tua Piki. Nice couple steps in there. Good question. I'm guessing the ref is just too whistle happy regardless, says Simi Souza. Yeah, I assume it's that they're saying the Melbourne Storm have been robbed, but then when they're up by 18 points, I feel like it's not bad. At the end of the day, don't think so. I think I'm going to watch India versus Australia, shaping up into a competitive test. That says Sebastian. Yeah, it's looking good. When does that start? Is that 5 p.m. that one started? India versus Australia. Oopsies, miss. Yeah, starts at 5 p.m. So Australia. It's interesting that Travis Head is open though. That's due to what happened to Warner, Sebastian. I never actually found out, but someone said that he ended up with some sort of injury, did he? Or he got hit? Something like that. And that was why they were going with Travis Head opening. But yeah, what's the go? I assume that you will either know or you might know something to do with it. You're a smart man. I've said this multiple times. Lussick gives it to Far. They start to make a couple more meters. That man's almost got his Melbourne Storm budgie smugglers on. He's forgotten what team he's playing for. Now Lussick again, nice inside ball to R4. Gets the offload away to Lussick again. Warriors, this is a good chance for them. 25 meters out. Oh, it looks like someone might have a sword groin region. Got them crushed, I think, by an elbow. That one felt nice. Now, once again, going off to the left-hand side. Almost breaking through. It's the 5th and final. They need to find an offload. No, they don't. And it's going to be the handover. I think he got injured, allowing Australia to have a decent opening duo for once, says Sebastian. Don't let Ruth hear you say that, Sebastian. She quite likes herself some David Warner. And then someone else, what's the other nickname that someone's got for him? The Poison Dwarf or something. It's quite a mixed bag for Warner. Melbourne Storm is the team to beat this year, says Amore. 1 minute 30 left of the half, and they do have about 80 or so meters to go. They do want to get themselves another try and get to that score that you mentioned, 30 points to 6. Oh, this is a nice break. Now going short side to the 40-meter line now. That is going to be the 3rd tackle. Now nice inside ball. And John Mills calls Warner Poison Dwarf. And he's not wrong at all, says Sebastian. Right, kicking on the 5th and final. The last set, as long as the Warriors take this, which they haven't, it's going to be knocked on by the Melbourne Storm. So the final set of the game will go the way of the Warriors. They've got a minute to try and get themselves over the try line, make the score 24 points to 12, which is actually what the score was, I believe, last time that these two sides played throughout a regular season game. Those tackle bust numbers are huge, though. 29 for the Melbourne Storm compared to the 9 of the Warriors. And also, we've seen almost 1,500 metres from the Melbourne Storm compared to the 900 and something that the Warriors have been able to progress. But 30 seconds remaining, unless the clock is wrong, of course, which it has been in the past. It ended up adding an extra about 2 minutes to that first half of the game. Now Buntia for Lussick. Going off the side last 15 seconds. That was someone with an ear horn, I think. And one of the cheetah. Says Spider Meg. Now Buntia for goes off to Lussick. In fact, it was Ma who's just slipped. Now it's going to be fifth and final. Lussick. You've got to pass this one. He does. Finds the offload. Now off to the Warriors number 17. Considering the kick, Lussick once again, he'll just take the contact. And that will be the end of the game. 24 points to 6 in favour of the Melbourne Storm. A good first half for the Warriors, but that was as far as it went, unfortunately, in terms of how well they were doing. But the 4 converted tries in the second half for the Storm really cemented this game in their favour. And now we just have to wait for the first round of the competition. So on the Thursday night, we will get to see Parramatta playing the Melbourne Storm. That is in 2 weeks' time on the 2nd of March. And then on the Friday night at 8 p.m, the Warriors will be in action and they'll be going head-to-head with the Knights. And John Mills been watching too much Snow White. And the Seven Dwarfs says, please, Nate. Normally he'll have an IMO at the end of his sentence for his, in my opinion. So he'll be like, Warner's a poison dwarf, IMO. Time for a cup of kakite, says Spike. Have a good one, lads. 10 out of 10, says Sebastian. Enjoy the test match. It does end up going well for the Aussies, and they at least get a decent enough total that we get a day 4 and 5 on our hands. I think they're up to day 3, aren't they? Yep, day 3. So, yeah, if they get to day 4 and maybe day 5, we will actually get to cover some of that test on the channel. So that will be ideal on that one. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you all for the next one.